Members of the band Sigur Rós were asked in an infamously awkward radio interview how they create a song.
And how do you guys create a song?
We just sit down and create a song.
We just sit down and create a song. Their answer spoke to me. When I'm asked how I write a song, I find it difficult to answer. It just sort of happens. And that's what this film is about. It might be a familiar phrase to you. Life may have unfolded in ways you couldn't have expected. And maybe you've followed the threads of creativity we will explore. I want to share the role those 5 words, "it just sort of happens," have played in my life so far. And I hope it might inspire you to use your naturally deep sensitivity to notice and respond to your creative spirit when it's inviting, asking, maybe even begging you to pause, pay attention, and play. I wrote what I consider my first official song when I was about 7 or 8. It was a Christmas song, and it came to life thanks to a preset style on our Yamaha PSR 300. That keyboard taught me about chord sequences, and I had a great time making up lyrics and singing them to invented melodies over the top. The reason I consider it my first song is because I recorded it, which felt like a big deal at the time, even if it was just via the inbuilt microphone on the tape recorder. I then took the tape into school to play to my teacher. She liked it, so much so that she asked if she could play it to the class. Without a second thought, I proudly said yes. But then, once it started happening, the reality of what I'd said yes to kicked in, and I found myself retreating like a hedgehog into a ball and avoiding all eye contact until it was over. I've never enjoyed being the centre of attention. Or should I say, I've never enjoyed feeling like I am the centre of attention. Creativity, making things, and even entertaining people has never been about that for me. And like many of the sensitive people I've met over the years, we might create despite that stuff, not because of it. Sometimes that can feel like a contradiction, but I don't believe it is. Creativity is where I feel at home, and when others connect with what I make, it means we're existing together in that realm for a moment. Creativity isn't a product. It's anything that reshapes the world and other people's experience in some way, however small. Like a word of encouragement or gratitude, something planted, something given, something shared. I spoke with someone recently who described their relationship with creativity as upcycling. It gives old cloth new life as it is folded back into the world in unexpected and often unpredictable ways. A story from the past makes contact with the present and gives life to the story yet to be written. You know when something just clicks. You can't predict or anticipate it. It just arrives and it gets you. At the end of 2023, I was invited to participate in an art exhibition in a building scheduled for imminent demolition. The exhibition was titled Rapid Response because of the circumstances, and it was cobbled together in a rather poetic rush. I decided to write a song based on audience responses to the question, if tomorrow were your last day on Earth, what would you choose to do or not do? On one of my visits to the venue while the exhibition was running, I noticed how much noise the building itself made. Creaking doors, floorboards, and other slightly harder to pin down, mysterious sounds. I wanted to capture them for use in the final song, so I spent a day recording them. It was a different kind of drum kit. The rhythm would be whatever the building wanted to say as it spoke some final words before it was destroyed and replaced by whatever would come next. When it occurred to me to do this, it felt so obvious, and yet I was met with blank looks when I shared my plan. Not everyone notices the same things as us. Not everyone finds the same beauty in the places we do, or in the same way. And that's okay. But there was a time I would probably have interpreted those blank faces as criticism and a reason to change my mind and stop doing what I wanted to do. Now, not so much. I let myself notice what I notice, to work with it, to mould it, or to be with it in the moment before letting it go.
Cause I need nothing else. You're the flicker of light in the embers of night. Just bring yourself, cause I need nothing else. Your music drifts on at the end of the song.
The world is always inviting our attention to dance with it. When I look up and slow down, I feel it, and I'm getting better at moving towards it and riding the waves of its flow. Like the morning alarm call of a spectacular soundscape from the shifting ice on the lake in Kumoinen. It was a reminder, or perhaps a challenge, that said, this is your only chance. You've got to drop what you're doing and listen right now. I am fleeting, and soon I will be gone. Yet this was a gift, not a threat. It said, here, look, listen. I am life, and I am happening right now. I'd love you to join me. This doesn't necessarily conform to the schedule of an on-demand world. We must turn our attention to the present. There might not be another chance later. This sunset will be gone. The sound will fall silent. This moment will dissolve. And these experiences, well, they just sort of happen. They can't be forced or demanded. We can just be ready to receive them and respond when they arrive, prepared with a notebook, a field recorder, or a simple willingness to commit to figure out how to make yes an option if it feels like the right thing to do today. I played in bands when I was a teenager. I had friends with whom I deepened my connection to the kind of art that evokes a bittersweet mix of feelings. I love music that makes me feel deeply. People sometimes call this sad music, but I see it differently. I believe it can help us connect with the fragility of life in a way that makes us feel held, seen, and understood in a meaningful way. This liminal space between black and white certainty is where I love to explore creativity. I'm drawn to the contradictions and paradoxes that compel us to act in the often confusing ways we do as humans. I experienced one such contradiction through my childhood obsession with drums. I was in awe of them. The way the light bounced off the shells, the terrifying thunderous noise they made, yet so crisp and pure at the same time. The kick drum cut through my belly, the snare drum wrapped around my chest, and the cymbals lifted my feet off the floor. There is a photo of me as a child playing my cousin's drum kit, with a stick in one hand, while trying to cover my ears with my other hand. Perhaps this contradiction embodies the life of a highly sensitive person, who is emotionally drawn to sights of push and pull, attraction and revulsion, tension and ease, all of which can fuel the fire in our belly. Perhaps this is why I found great meaning in my 6 years spent working as an undertaker, confronting and navigating a big part of life that we would often rather keep hidden from view. It might be doodling, cooking, gardening, writing, mending stuff, singing, or something entirely different. Creativity allows us to process life. But what does it mean to process? It sounds formal, cold, maybe even inhuman. For me, it describes an absence of force, in the same way that when we sleep, our unconscious mind has some peace and quiet to process without the potential sabotage of overthinking, rumination, and attempts to force dots to connect before they are ready. Growth, healing, and restoration can sometimes just sort of happen when we get out of our own way and release the pressure to be productive.
absent minds. Get yourself out of there. Run and don't look back again. This is not where you belong. It's not where you belong.
At the end of 2018, I sat down at the piano in my parents' garage and let rip. I was still coming to terms with the whirlwind end of my marriage that I had been trying to make sense of for a few months. As had happened many times through my life, music provided a sanctuary, like shouting across the ocean or screaming into a pillow. Music has always been strong enough to take it, whatever it might be. Strong words, big feelings, confusion. And sometimes, when I give myself to it, something just sort of happens. What started as an uncensored flow when I opened the tap became 6 songs that we went on to perform as the band Early Bird.
You run, I'm not gonna run no more. You put it on the TV, you set fire to the bar, the mirrors on the ceiling as you travel on your scars. You run, I'm not gonna run. You raised a glass to health and set fire to your heart. The ghost in your reflection was choked under the bar.
A number of people have asked me if these songs are hard to perform, knowing what they are about and where they came from. They certainly echo the emotions I was experiencing at the time, but I don't find them difficult to sing because rather than containing the pain, they gave form to it in a way that allowed them to hold the hope and beauty of a life that carries me out of and beyond the darkness of that night. There's a moment when you don't know where it might go or what it could do. You hit send, share it, reveal it, expose it, give, serve. It's a courageous moment. It's a vulnerable moment. In early 2014, I was contacted by the organisers of a TEDx conference in Cyprus, inviting me to perform at their event later that year. One of my songs, Moon City, had received a lot of radio play in Greece since the previous year, and one thing led to another, which resulted in me speaking and playing to a room of more than 400 people in Nicosia. I remember standing in the wings, trembling with fear, regretting my decision to say yes. I wanted to retreat into my hedgehog ball. The nerves can feel so overwhelming that I wonder why I do it to myself. But I had planned and prepared meticulously. So when it came to doing it, it just sort of happened. I didn't need to think about it, which was a good job, because my thoughts were pretty tangled. I was glad I could trust that preparation and let it flow, knowing that afterwards the clarity will return and I will remember exactly why I do it to myself. It turns out I love this feeling, and I love sharing my creativity with others.
I'm a traveler who's scared to move along. I'm a traveler who's scared of moving on. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Humour is the most revealing sense when it comes to understanding ourselves. Laughter itself almost always just sort of happens. Our humour is our natural sound of being in the world. The stuff that makes us laugh without thinking is what causes us to play and discover who we are without forcing productive outcomes. Humour fuses our creativity and sensitivity with everything and everyone that matters to us. It's the lens through which we see, and the shock absorber when we get knocked down. When I first heard about sensory processing sensitivity, it felt like a moment of clarity that shone a revealing light on all the discrepancies between my experiences and the way it seemed others existed in the world. I began to make sense of old stories, patterns and preferences, and wrote about them. I reached a simple conclusion: that I, like so many of the sensitive and creative people I have met since then, naturally live a life of gentle rebellion. We might notice things that others overlook or don't care about. We can sense when something feels off and might choose to act on it because it's too hard to sit by and turn a blind eye. This is also creativity. Life has taken me to places I could never have preconceived. Being here now, speaking to you. None of the experiences I've shared has been intentionally moving towards the destination of some master plan. Yet while it often happened in unpredictable ways, it also makes sense that it happened exactly like this.